I try to show how we can practically apply spiritual techniques, rules throughout our life, not just say that, okay, either you be on the material side or you go to the forest. These are like two binary zones. So
Sure.
whenever I talk about spiritual stuff to my family or to my relatives, they say that, oh, but you are in the material world, how can you discuss spiritual stuff here,
Yeah, well, that's I think more and more of it. My channel is exactly all about that too. It's really, living life from the inside out, as I'd like to think. So,
Yeah,
from the inside out, and that's very much when people have it. Like I think partly where we're struggling is in the languaging of it. We don't have the language to be able to articulate this domain of experiencing an inner reality. Or a higher reality, we don't really have, because it's all very much. You should watch the interviews I recently did with Jeffrey Armstrong. I'll be starting to release them very shortly, and he is also a teacher who is very much into Vedic sciences, and he talks about the Bhagavad Gita a lot. He's just done a new translation of the Bhagavad Gita because he says that there is no current translation that is accurate in English, because the language of English has been very much based around Christianity and the ideas of Christianity. So there's all these ideas like the Lord and sin. And, we don't, when you really look at Sanskrit, it doesn't have those words at all. There's a completely different concepts and expressions which don't directly one-to-one translate to certain English words. And so the struggle is very much, and where I can hear you're struggling with that, I'm struggling with that. And I had this dialogue with him about language, how important it is. So I think we're going to have to come up with new words to be able to talk about this, because, in certain European countries, you have either you are an atheist or you're a Catholic. And in some places, there's some Protestants, that's Christianity that is non-Catholic. So there is this, and so it's very binary, whereas
exactly.
the Indian philosophy, I'd rather think of it as a philosophy, is sort of esoteric philosophy, is mainly to be able to talk about the nature of our who we are beyond the mind and the body, the non-local that lives in the transcendental realm, who we are, which is vast as consciousness. Now, even the word consciousness doesn't really cut it. So I'm doing a little bit of a side here, but I know what you're trying to say. So we talk about the spiritual and we talk about the material, but when Christians are listening to it, then they hear it in a very different, or Western people or Indians or people brought up in the Western world to the kind of, in a Christian environment, this idea of spirituality can be very ancient, can be very kind of old fashioned, so it's a dilemma, and I know what you're trying to say. I think what you're saying is being authentic to your innate nature when we talk about spirituality. And the experience is one of an expanded awareness of who you are as a being beyond the human realm, So, sorry, that's slight aside, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because in Srimad Bhagavatam also there's this mention of 12 great personalities, the 12 Mahajans. Among the 12 Mahajans, 7 of them are householders, and only the remaining 5, they are renunciates. They are sannyasis or brahmacharis who do not get married and stay celibates. But the remaining 7, they are married, in fact. And there's so many great personalities. In Mahabharata we have the example of Yudhishthir Maharaj. He is married. He's known as a Raja Rishi. Raja Rishi means one who is like a Raja. He's like a king, but he's actually a Rishi. Then Arjun is there. Then Draupadi herself, she's there. She's the epic. She exemplifies all the qualities of devotion, because when Duryodhan and Karna and Shakuni and Dushasan had tried to insult her by disrobing her in front of everybody in the public assembly, in the Asat Sabha, as the Mahabharata says, then when she had called Lord Krishna for saving her, then Lord Krishna had appeared, and he had blessed her with unlimited cloth. That was the first
So her
textile mill.
sari was endless. No matter how much they twirled her around and tried to disrobe her, they couldn't do it because it was just infinite. The cloth of her sari just went on and on and on. It's, yeah,
Yeah.
which is what you're saying is a reward or a fruit of surrendering to the highest.
Yes, yes, and that's what it is, that we don't have to go to the forest, or we don't have to renounce ourselves. No, we can be in this world, and then we can also elevate ourselves if we have a proper structure, a proper
Yeah,
schedule in life.
yeah.
If we do those activities which are recommended in the scriptures, if we do it on a daily basis, because anything serious you want to achieve, you have to do it daily.
Exactly. You have
If
to,
you
there is that thing that people say that to master anything, you have to put in 10,000 hours. I think you need to put in a lot
Yes, yes.
more to really master it. But it's a good place to start.
Because nowadays what has happened is, and the problem in India is, because astrology is what, if you talk specific to astrology, it is Vedanga. Anga is part.
Yeah,
It's like a
it's like
limb.
a limb, one of the
Exactly.
limbs of
Exactly.
Vedas.
Yes. So it is a part of it's a Vedanga. So it ultimately, every word of astrology, even Parashar Muni, when he has written it, every word, every syllable, every letter, every chapter, every line, every shloka, that is to give you spiritual elevation. Now, what exactly is astrology? If everything is meant for spiritual elevation, why do we need scriptures like astrology, which gives you a prediction about your mundane material life, also about your spiritual stuff, but primarily today it is seen as a predictive tool for mundane things. The question is, why at all do we need all this? The question is, do we need it? The answer is no, we don't need it. But why Parashara had given this? Because Parashara, the mood of the rishis and the saints and the sages of those days were that you have to go close towards God. That's fixed. There's no compromise with that. You have to do your mantras, you have to read the scriptures, you have to visit holy places, you have to elevate yourself, you have to have a good lifestyle, you have to eat the right food, you have to meet the right people. That's fine. Now when you are doing that in your material life, because you still have a body, right? You cannot just say, oh, I don't have a body, I will not eat, I will not sleep. Everybody has material limitations, which and there's a boundary around which we work. So astrology tells us that when we are moving ahead in our spiritual journey, what are the obstacles, or which are the areas by which I can live a materially fulfilled life, not a happy or not a bad life, a materially fulfilled life. Which are the areas where I will have more limitations? Like today I was saying of the planet Saturn, that Saturn is a planet which everybody fears. Why in the universe do they fear Saturn? They say, oh, my Saturn is spoiled in the chart. Even I have seen people that they will not get married, and then due to some reason or the other, then they'll say, oh yeah, I went to this astrologer, he said your Saturn is transiting over seventh house or over your natal Venus. Venus is the karaka for relationship, so because of that you are not getting married.
Do you know?
So
Yeah, no,
whatever.
it's a very interesting that whole topic of Saturn is super interesting. For me, one of my favorite planets, Saturn, because if you can understand Saturn, you will have the best possible life. You know why? Be-
Exactly.
because you will be able to develop discipline. You'll be able to master aspects of your senses, or perhaps even all of your senses, because without a good Saturn, you don't have a foundation. You learn to actually slow down, to create a foundation. You start from the basics and then you build on top of that. Whereas what we want to do is the other way around, especially when we're young. We want it now, and we want to go super fast, and we don't care about all that stuff. Foundation, so it's like that kind of thing. So Saturn is just the most incredible teacher, but you have to approach it with utmost respect, because otherwise, as you say in your video, I haven't listened to them, but I saw the title, Saturn Latviga, which is, is going to kick your ass. Saturn
Yes.
will kick your ass. That it will do that. So it's really important to, and also it teaches you, integrity. integrity is, if I had one word for Saturn, I would say integrity. That's it. Because there's no other planet, not even Jupiter, that actually insists on the foundation of integrity. If you are really going to work with your karma, again, Saturn being a karma planet, it is the planet of karma, right? So those things are very, very intricately, connected. And if you want to improve your karma, it's very simple. Get some integrity into your life in all areas of your life, period. Right? And then you
Yeah, I
don't have to
mean,
worry about Saturn. But it's
that's
not
what
easy. It's
Saturn
not easy to
does.
do.
That's what Saturn does. He will not punish you. He will only show you that, my dear sir, these are your limitations. You thought you will become the prime minister, the best cricketer, and the best movie star, all three together. But I'm sorry, that can't happen. You have to choose one of them. Yeah, so that is like one part of the astrology which is not actually Vedic, but which is going on in India now in the name of Vedic astrology. They will say that, okay, these are your problems, these planets are creating trouble. So it's very easy. And now on the other hand, in the Western countries is another version. They have made astrology into a science of counseling, and I hate to say this, and many people may not like to hear this, but I will still make that statement. Because of that, what has happened is, I have had this experience with Westerners. By Westerners, I mean Indians who were born and brought up there, or who are not, who are not Indians and they have been born and brought up. I mean, their families, they are totally Westerners. So what has happened with these people when I consult them is, they have this tendency to expect that everything's great in their life, or everything will be great, or there will be no problems, no troubles, no challenges. Now why that has happened is, that's not their mistake. What has happened is, over the last 20, 30, 40 years, and more over the last 8 to 10 years, I think this has happened in the West, that people have come up with this idea that, oh, don't say anything negative, only say the good things.
It's all good, right? Yeah,
Yeah, it's all great.
it's all good. Yeah, everything is good. It's not all good. No,
Yeah.
everything is not all good. No.
So then the
Some things
question
are
is,
shit.
yeah, if it's so great, then why are you running to an astrologer? Now, when you say to them that everything's great, it's the phantasmagoria, it's too good, it's nice, everything's good. Yeah, there's some problems here, but you can work it out. It's not that bad. So then what happens is, they don't they are being deprived from the areas where they can actually work on. And the astrologer gets more and more clients, because the same clients keep coming to him again and again, right? Oh, 1 year back you said this, now what about this? So then, and they also like such astrologers who always speak the good things, right? And on the other side, on the other extreme in India, this thing is, oh my god, Saturn will kill you, Rahu will destroy you, Ketu will rip
Yeah.
you apart, अरे शनि अभी लगन में आ गया है, ये हो गया, वो हो गया. So these are like two other extremes. So when we go into either of the two zones, then what happens is, we miss the higher goal, which is actually spiritual elevation. And Parashar Muni is so great that there's a story in the Vedas that once a Parashar Muni, he was 5 year old when he was very young. Then he had entered into an assembly where there were great rishis and munis sitting. So one of the great rishis who was sitting there was Markandeya Rishi, who's very famous in the scriptures. So Markandeya Rishi, the moment, now he's very elderly age wise, and Parashar Muni was very young, 5 years. So as soon as Parashar Muni appeared in the assembly, Markandeya Rishi just got up and he jumped up from his seat, and he offered prostrated obeisances, which we call as Ashtang Pranam, which means we fully fall down in the ground flat, with this mudra. Then Parashara says, my dear Markandeya, what the hell are you doing? You are so much elder to me. You are a timeless sage. In Markandeya, there's no time limit, from when he's living, God knows. And I'm just 5 year old. So why in the universe are you paying so much respect to me? Huh? And then Markandeya says, well, I may be elder to you. I may be way senior than you are. I may have more knowledge than you. But the beauty with you is, you are totally realized in the conclusion of all the scriptures. And Parashar Muni, they know him because of this BPH, as Brihat Parashar Hora Shastra. But the interesting thing is, he is the one who has defined the word Bhagavan. Bhagavan is one who has 6 opulences in full and more than everybody else, and for eternity. That's what is the meaning of Bhagwan. So he is the one who is also the father of Vyasdev, who is the author of all Vedic scripture. Parashar Muni said that, and Markandeya said that you are realized in all the scriptural, this knowledge, whatever is there. You are completely realized in that. We have just theoretical knowledge of the books, but you are completely realized. You know it from inside. So that person like Parashar Muni, he will just not write books to predict, oh, this is the day you are going to get married, this is the day you'll have a job, or you'll be fired from your job, or you will lose your wife, or you lose your husband. So if we just think from our perspective that why Parashar Muni wrote it, then we will understand that even from our perspective, that was not his goal, just to give all this material mundane predictions. It was to show us that, okay, your spiritual goal is there, that's fixed. So now when you are moving there, you're having a material body, you're having mother, father,
And
husband, wife.
challenges.
Yeah. So what will be the challenges? So now when the people in the West, they do not know the goal, the purpose of this, then you cannot say anything negative, because then their idea is, okay, this world is all in all, all you want to do is materialistic enjoyment. Yes, you will just have wine, and you will eat meat, or you will indulge with different people from the opposite sex, and then that's it, one day you perish. So then when suppose one astrologer comes and tells, hey, you might have a breakup 6 months later, that's like, that shatters them off completely. That's terrorizing for them. So people should create awareness of the ultimate purpose of astrology, and what is the purpose of the texts like the Brihad Parashar Hora Shastra. Then we'll know that, okay, our main goal is to obtain spiritual perfection, and in that, in our material realm, we have these limitations, because in astrology they say that the Dusthana houses will show the pending karma, the 6th house, the 8th house, and the 12th house. Well, that's a very funny thing which I've heard, because, and they will also say that Saturn and Rahu and Ketu will show your pending
Because
karma.
the whole thing is really karma, right?
Exactly.
It's all a map
Every
of
house is showing your pending karma.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, every house. Okay, these Dusthana houses may show it in a way. When we say it's karma, basically they are meaning that it's gonna take something from you. It's going to be painful.
And it may
That's how.
be, in those cases, it may be something which is unavoidable, in the sense that, where with certain aspects of your karmic chart, as it were, because the whole of the chart is karma, in a sense, that there are certain things which require you to rise to the occasion. It needs you to intercept. Maybe there's an opportunity for you to if it's going to go in that direction, you might, by making a different choice, or being wiser, or giving up a point of view, or letting go of a position, as it were, like an internal position, you may be able to create a better, more holistic outcome, or a nicer outcome. So, but those 612, 3612, those ones are very much more, in a sense, stubborn. Something you may not necessarily, or I said I meant 6, 8, 12. They're the ones that can sometimes come up suddenly, or you won't find it may be if it's related to the 6th house, it could be a disease which you may not be able to get a resolution to, or it may take its own time to discover what the disease is, etc. So they all have their own flavors. So there is going to be some of that. No, I
I'm
get that.
saying is, like, in my experience, I have seen is that who are like getting readings done from people from the West, like they can be having Vedic astrology also the way it is known today, or they can be having the system of tropical calculation also. They have this is what I feel in my experience, that uh, in India, some pundits and many people they've made it into this demoniac science, that everything's terrible, everything's fixed, you can't do anything, you're finished. Sometimes in the West they say that, oh, it's all on your hands, you can do whatever you want, you will make it, you'll go through it. Well, the important thing is we have to understand that free will is always there. and destiny is also there. Some areas we free destiny is what basically what happens to you that you cannot change, but free will is how you react to it. Suppose somebody comes and scolds you, they insult you. So many times it happens in YouTube especially, that you make a video and you fail to understand that for some reason or for no reason they will dislike it. Like for example, I had made the video on Rahu's transit into Punarvasu. So I remember I uploaded that video at 1 a.m. this Sunday, and the video is for 20 minutes. And when I was just about to sleep at 1 3, which is after 3 minutes of uploading the video, I saw that somebody had disliked the video.
Yeah, and the whole video is 20 minutes, so they couldn't possibly have
Yeah,
seen the whole of it. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know why why they dislike the video, but I also did not know that why did you dislike the video in the third minute? At least you could have, or at least halfway you could have seen. So now that's like a destiny. My destiny is that somebody comes and puts a thumbs down. Now there are 200-300 likes also in the video that has hardly 5 dislikes till now, and it has reached some 7,000 views also. So the thing is that the number of likes and dislikes you get in a video, that you can't change, that's fixed.
Yeah.
But now free will is that, oh, what do I do? I see many YouTubers, they'll make videos like this.
So how do you respond? How do you react to that? That's in your hands. Now I got that.